Welcome to the Rudick Report. Today is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. Please like and subscribe. Without your help, this channel cannot grow. A federal judge has made a historic ruling by partially banning the various Biden administration officials and government agencies, such as the Justice Department and the FBI, from working with big tech firms to censor posts on social media. The ban came in response to a censorship by proxy lawsuit brought by attorneys generals in Louisiana and Missouri, who have accused Biden administration officials and various government agencies of pressuring social media companies to suspend accounts or take down posts. Judge Terry A. Dougherty of the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Louisiana wrote in the July 4th ruling that various government agencies, including the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency, the Department of Homeland Security, and the U.S. State Department, the Department of Justice, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are prohibited from taking a range of actions regarding social media companies. Specifically, the agencies and their staff members are prohibited from meeting or contacting by phone, email, or text message, or engaging in any communication of any kind with social media companies urging, encouraging, pressuring, or inducing in any manner for removal, deletion, suppression, or reduction of content containing protected free speech per the injunction. The agencies are also barred from flagging content on posts on social media platforms and forwarding them to companies with requests for action, such as removing or otherwise suppressing their reach. Encouraging or otherwise egging on social media companies to change their guidelines for the removal, suppression, or reduction of content that contains protected free speech by government is also not allowed. This could be arguably one of the most important First Amendment cases in modern history, said Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry. If you look at the opinion that the judge lays out, he takes from our argument that this is basically one of the most massive undertakings of the federal government to limit American speech in the history of our country. The things that we uncovered in this case should be both shocking, appalling, and concerning for all Americans. Dougherty from the Western District of Louisiana wrote in the decision that the Republican attorneys general who sued the Biden administration have produced evidence of a massive effort by defendants from the White House to federal agencies to suppress speech based on its content. While the judge's ruling isn't final, the preliminary injunction is a victory for the Republican attorneys general, who have accused the Biden administration of pressuring big tech companies to engage in a censorship by proxy scheme. I think that this injunction today certainly begins limiting government action and telling social media companies what they can and cannot allow on their platforms, Landry said. Anyone following this case should be somewhat relieved but still very concerned, as the government, our own government of the United States, has been using its power to silence any opposition to its agenda. These include opposition to CV-19 vaccines, opposition to CV-19 masking and lockdowns, opposition to lab leak theory of CV-19, opposition to the validity of the 2020 election, opposition to President Biden's policies, statements that Hunter Biden laptop story was true, and opposition to policies of the government officials in power. All were suppressed. Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry gave specific examples of censorship by proxy at the hands of the Biden administration, including email chains between high-ranking White House officials and social media platforms targeting specific individuals, such as presidential hopeful Robert Kennedy Jr., the media personality Tucker Carlson, directly targeting them and asking those social media platforms to take their content down. The preliminary injunction prohibits nearly all of the federal government, including DHS, DOJ, HHS, from coercing and colluding with social media companies to censor free speech. The injunction pertains to various named agencies as well as their agents, officers, employees, and contractors. It's ridiculous that this even had to get to a courtroom. But you see what the people have been up against, namely a government hell-bent on controlling the narrative to push their agenda by silencing and giving no voice to the opposition. Now you need to start questioning every single statistic the government has ever put out in recent years. More than likely, those stats are all fake as well. It's sad that this had even taken place, and even more concerning that these social media companies have complied, knowing full well that these requests from the government agencies were illegal the whole time. They didn't even push back, but rather were complicit in silencing the voice of the people. They didn't even question or fight back. It's pathetic. Until next time, this is the Rudick Report.